DataSolutions, you've recently carried out a channel, I guess, a sort of stock take survey to do with, I think, both channel companies and their customers' attitudes towards sustainability. So it'd be good just to have the sort of high-level view of what that, what the survey revealed.
Yeah, that's right. We think this is the first survey of its kind of the channel and where they're at with regards to sustainability. And it was carried out in the summer of last year by CRN and Size Media, and they contacted 134 different channel decision makers. I suppose the headline figure really is that 60% of the channel businesses have not set net zero targets. And look, we all need to set net zero targets and reach it by 2050 at the latest. So I suppose that is not a good finding. But I think, as we go through the survey, we'll find that progress is being made, and I would be confident that enough will be done to allow us to achieve that target.
Okay, and did the survey, I mean, there's one thing for people to say we're interested in sustainability, and then you just alluded the sort of top line maybe is the majority haven't necessarily got that far down the road. But did the survey at least reveal that the majority of companies, channel companies and their customers are sort of interested or saying they're going to do stuff about sustainability, whether or not they've actually made any progress?
Yeah, I should say that the survey also surveyed end users. They contacted 244 end user decision makers, and both channel and the end users are equally committed towards sustainability. 65% of the channel and 68% of the end users are setting carbon reduction plans, but in terms of setting concrete plans for net zero or carbon neutral, only 37% of the channel and 34% of end users. So this is where the rubber hits the road, really. And we set up Techies Go Green, and we've done a lot of work in this area. And while it looks daunting to get started on the journey, what we find, and particularly true for channel companies who are in the main service-based businesses, that it isn't as difficult as it might seem. In Techies Go Green, we have helped many businesses get started on the journey, and they're now carbon neutral or well on their way to achieving that. But they know what they need to do, and it's no longer a mystery, and they can now put concrete plans in place to achieve net zero.
And is it right to say that sort of more and more end users are inquiring about their supply chain in terms of sustainability? So wherever the channel is right now, and whether they're saying yes, we'd love to be sustainable, but they haven't started the process, or even if they're beginning, it's going to become increasingly important because their customers will say, show me your sustainability credentials, in effect.
That's right. Look, there's always more that can be done, and at a faster pace. There's no denying that climate change is the most pressing and urgent issue that we're all facing, and the time for people to act is now. Every business needs to reduce its carbon footprint by 50% by 2030 and achieve net zero by 2050 at the latest. And, we prefer not to be giving out and complaining that businesses aren't doing enough. And maybe it's a DataSolutions approach as a distributor with the supportive arm around our channel partners that we feel we make and have been making great progress by putting that, if you like, supportive arm around the shoulder of our members and helping them get started on that journey.
Okay, and just to galvanize people, as you say, you don't want to sort of be too sort of prescriptive, but are you aware of cases where maybe customer contracts have been lost or haven't been awarded because some of your channel partners, or just people who responded to the survey, were not able to demonstrate, if you like, their green credentials to the customers? Is that beginning to happen, do you know?
Yeah, so one of the findings of the survey was that 10% of channel respondents conceding that they'd lost a contract or a tender because they couldn't show their sustainability pedigree. And even, we did that survey in the summer of 21, and in the last 6 months, which is after the survey, the UK government have come out with 2 new rules. The first one being that for every procurement going forward, there is a minimum weighting of 10% towards social value, and for all contracts worth £5 million or more, that anyone applying for those contracts need to show a credible plan as to how they're going to achieve net zero by 2050. Yeah, so we also asked respondents, the end users, to rate out of 10 in terms of importance, price, performance, cost savings, and sustainability. And their ratings in the summer of 21, sustainability was a distant fourth, last place. But we then asked them to predict where those ratings would be in 2 years' time, i.e. 2023. And there was no real change in the other 3 factors, but sustainability changed significantly, with 16% of end users giving it the highest mark, and a further 28% scoring it in joint top in terms of importance. So definitely sustainability is increasing in importance. We can see that happening.
Okay, and moving maybe to the other end of the supply chain, did the survey reveal anything about the vendors? Because obviously the channel sort of sat in the middle, so they've obviously got the feedback from the end users, but did the channel have any views on how their vendors were or were not sort of addressing sustainability issues?
That's an interesting one, Philip. So we got a mixed response from the channel on this. So the survey asked, are your vendor partners doing enough to make their technology more sustainable? And 27% of the channel agreed that this vendors were, but 23% of the channel felt that the vendors are not doing enough, and the remainder sat on the fence. And for us, that just highlights that vendors are not doing enough, and they are not doing enough to help drive sustainability in the IT sector. And interestingly, Philip, the survey also found that 97% of the channel liked the idea of rebates or financial incentives from vendors if they, the channel partners, have firm goals to help their clients become more sustainable. So I think that's something that vendors should take on board, and could really help drive the sustainability message out there.
Okay, and you yourselves, I know you've referenced the Techies Go Green initiative. Does that include that whole supply chain, or is that more about helping your channel partners, or do you get vendors involved? Just a bit about how that's actually working.
Yeah, so we set Techies Go Green up in March of last year as a sustainability movement geared around the greater IT community. And we've 2 goals. The first goal is to build awareness for the need to be sustainable. And there is a real need to drive that awareness. We found that most of our members are only starting out on the journey, and there's a wall of information out there that can be somewhat off-putting for any business trying to get started. So that's where we come in with Techies Go Green and try and simplify it and make it easy for them to get started. We hold things like webinars, and we're starting our spring series of webinars next month in March. We carry out numerous surveys every year, and indeed this interview is based on a survey we did last year. And we're constantly posting on social media to build that awareness, that education among our members and the IT community. And the second goal is action. We don't want to just be a talk shop. Considering where businesses are only starting out, the main action we ask people to do is to actually measure their carbon footprint. And once you know where you're burning carbon within your business, you can start to take action to reduce it. And we've helped a number of businesses get started, and a number of them are now carbon neutral. And we're very proud of that fact. We started in March last year, and by the end of the year, we had 150 members. Our goal is to get to 300 members by the end of this year and 1,000 followers on LinkedIn. It's free for companies to join Techies Go Green. We may bring in a subscription to help fund the business, but at the moment it is free. And we encourage everyone watching this video to go to Techies Go Green and the join up section. We'd be delighted to hear from you. And like climate change, it's not selective on who it will affect. We're not going to be selective. We'll help any business we can become more sustainable.
Okay, it'd be good to know, I guess, as part of this discussion, the business DataSolutions yourselves, I'm guessing you've embarked on a sustainability, energy efficiency, environmental impact journey, however you want to phrase it. So it'd be good if you could share just some of the the things you as a company have been doing so far.
Absolutely. Yeah, so we started back in 2020. One of the first things we did is we got rid of our gas burning fossil fuel heating system, and we replaced it with a much more efficient electric heat pump solution. We put solar panels on the roof of the building, and we're now that's supplying us with renewable energy every day. We replaced all the lights in the offices with LEDs. We installed 2 EV electric vehicle chargers in the car park, and we have 2 electric vehicle cars in the company. We've instigated a working from home 3 days a week hybrid system. We don't believe working from home forever is a good viable solution, but we definitely know working from home works, and so we're 3 days a week work from home. And we are actively looking to reduce our business travel, our air travel. We're looking to bring that down by 60% at least. And the last thing I'd mention is that we're moving as many of our corporate apps as we can into the cloud, because we know the cloud is twice as efficient as on-premise. So they're the kind of things that we've been doing.
Okay, and maybe, I mean, just as we sort of conclude, as you say, you don't want to be negative about, but your view of the scenario, looking at it, are you sort of pleased with the progress being made? Would you be slightly disappointed that more people haven't got further down the sustainability? How would you characterize, I suppose, where the channel and its customer, through the survey or just anecdotally in in your day-to-day, as I say, do you think progress is good to date, or it needs to be ramped up significantly to make some real change?
Yeah, no, it definitely needs to be ramped up. Every business needs to demonstrate their commitment to act now and to be more sustainable. I'm not going to get into all the damage and the negativity there, other than to just say for our children, today is as good as it will get for them in terms of their lifetime, in terms of the environment and the damage that climate change will do to it going forward. So but like for businesses, Philip, sustainability is key for channel growth. It absolutely is. It helps with employee recruitment and retaining them. It builds loyalty and pride in your employer, and you should get better productivity as a result. It avoids reputation damage by being seen to maybe be greenwashing or just not doing anything. And it helps avoid losing out on those tenders because you can't show your credentials. And I think it'll help businesses win new customers, because sustainability is seen as being innovative, and your customers would want to see that.
Okay, well, Michael, we've covered a fair amount of ground, and it's been lovely to have your views shared. So thank you very much indeed for your time. Thank you.
Thank you, Philip. Cheers.